A moment of silence, people. We have lost another great soul this week. Many souls, actually. This week has been dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Ben Shapiro getting destroyed in a BBC interview. Batwoman. US heavy cruisers in the Gulf. So many lost souls. So many tragedies. So much. A moment of silence. Fuck this shit. What the fuck?
No, we do need a moment of silence, actually. It wasn't long enough. Excuse me. Grumpy Cat, rest in peace to the meme legend. In case you guys were not aware, the Grumpy Cat sensation has finally passed away. Nobody knew his real name except for his actual owners. Nobody needed to know his real name because to everyone on the internet, to everyone on Earth, he was Grumpy Cat. And he was a meme lord on the levels of Drake and Donald Trump and Alex Jones, and he deserves a moment of silence and real respect. So fuck your fake fucking moment of silence, Trillion. Here's my real moment of silence. Okay, that's long enough for a fucking cat. Anyway, what do we have for you today? Too much, some may say. The internet has blessed us, actually, this week with the amount of... There's so many things went wrong, in my opinion, this week. It's actually kind of monumental. It's gotten to the point where I'm beginning to think that a lot of producers, content creators, political outlets, news outlets are in competition to see who can outfuck themselves per day, and it's a race to the end of it all. And I don't know if I can handle it much longer, man. And clearly, neither can Babushka, who just snuck in here.
You're mute, Babushka.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, his mic isn't working. We'll leave him to deal with it. I can see better lighting. In any case, there's a lot to be angry about, a lot to be sad about, and
I think Google Hangouts just added one more thing to the list.
Let's get the glasses off. Let's just get right into it. Okay, there's so much that happened this week. A lot of just ridiculousness that occurred. And we got the Game of Thrones petition after that horrifyingly bad season 5, or episode 5, rather. Almost reaching.
God, I wish we were at season 5 right now. I almost want to relive those days. It's not fair, man. I've been saying this the past 4 weeks, actually. I have never seen such a fall from grace from a show. It hurts. It's beginning to sink in now. And it's every time at the end of the week it starts to get numb, then the next episode drops, and it's a new dagger in my heart. And it's nice to know that there's a collective fan base that feels the same way, because as I keep saying, even the casuals hate this season, and if episode 5 was an indication enough, believe me, just wait a couple days. Episode 6 is coming, and let's just say if the leaks are true, there's a lot of people that are not going to be happy.
The leaks, oh my god, like I won't spoil anything about the leaks for anybody who gives a shit, but oh my god, like, again, it's this, as you said, competition. It's a competition. People are actually, like, I think there is like an unofficial like cup that they're gonna award somebody, at the end
Yeah,
of
by
at the
the
end
end of
of
the year, because
yeah.
people say this, right? At the end of every year, people love to complain. This was the worst year in a long time, right? We heard this for 2018, for 2017, 2016. Every year, people complain. 2019 is the first year where I've really felt the that conceptualize, at least in my life. And part of this is I'm spending a little bit too much time on Twitter, but how can I not, man? Like, there are very few things Twitter is actually good for. Hating on Game of Thrones has peaked to the top of that list. That petition got started because of Twitter. Proof that Jack Dorsey can do some good in this world.
And you've mentioned this before. For Game of Thrones, for a show of this scale to reach this level of poor writing, and again, I made the conspiracy theory, right? David Benioff and Weiss, whatever their names are, Dumb and Dumber as people call them. There was a conspiracy to fuck over HBO. Well, now that I know that they have the Disney deal, and now that there's a very big possibility that they rushed everything so they can get to the fucking Disney deal. Who knows how long they've been in negotiation, and how things were going. I now realize that every defense I've ever given Dumb and Dumber has been nullified because they refused extra budget for more episodes. I.e., this is how they pictured it. This is how they constructed it. There was no restraint on the part of the HBO producers. The elephants were probably too much work for them to add on screen, not a budget issue. And all of that has me thinking, this is horrendous. This is unacceptable, right? And clearly, at least 900,000 people agree with the petition they make. Who knows how many people voted with their dollar by unsubscribing from HBO? I know a couple. Who knows how many people are just raiding Twitter and the comment sections. The cast themselves have been hinting on this in their interviews. Every time it's like, best season ever.
Best season ever.
Or the Kit Harington one, the one where he's like, if you could describe the ending of season 8, what would you say? Disappointing. And then he plays it off after. Like, they knew it was impossible for them to hide their emotion. It's ridiculous what happened. It's unacceptable.
And you want to know the saddest part about, and this is where I don't feel bad for Disney, but this is where Disney's going to take the hit. They hired Dumb and Dumber to work on Star Wars and to work on an arc in the Old Republic, which any real Star Wars fans know that if there's one piece of Star Wars lore that you do not touch, which they're about to get their filthy hands all over, it's the Old Republic. So brace yourselves for that. A lot of people already saw The Last Jedi, so they're probably already ready for that. But the sad part with Disney is that they hired Dumb and Dumber with the intention that, hey, look, these are the Game of Thrones directors. They're going to do a great job for us, and people are going to want to watch what they produce for us because they're the Game of Thrones directors. But because they just put out this sorry excuse for a product, their name has been tarnished. And it will be a while before they recover from this. Because Game of Thrones at the moment, I think, is a bigger cultural phenomenon than Star Wars. And it's their first work. That is always going to follow them because now people are going to attribute their work with starting so strong, which is like half their fault, if we're being honest, right? Because they had the source material. So it's kind of like the whole Death Note Netflix example. You just have something easy to fall back on. It's very doable. We start up here, and gradually we just, well, it goes steady for a little bit, but then the bar graph
just collapses. It's like a financial bubble, you know? It's been growing and growing, and now it blew up in season 8.
And Disney executives have to be thinking, oh no, we indirectly caused this. They rushed the final season of Game of Thrones to come help us with to come do our series. And now their bad name is going to follow over to this was a really bad idea, Carl. Why didn't we let them finish Game of Thrones first? And for any of the so-called realists out there that think this petition has no chance whatsoever to make any change, I challenge you in this regard. A reminder that HBO wanted 10 seasons of 10 episodes of Game of Thrones, with a bigger budget for each one, gradually. George R.R. Martin wanted more than 10 seasons, partially to give him time to keep composing everything, even if he didn't finish the books, to at least get the show more or less on track. There is no doubt in my mind that actually HBO has the budget to remake season 8. It's just a matter of how hard they want to take on their pride once it gets stabbed in the gut if they subscribe to this. If they surrender to the fans here, which in my opinion would be a double-edged sword, because you never listen to fans, but how can you not listen to fans in this regard? They have a decision to make, and no one's going to be satisfied regardless.
Well, here's the thing. To me, first thing I noticed is this like the first time people have been campaigning to change a season in the history of TV, at least this strongly? Like,
maybe not this strongly, but definitely not the first.
Did anybody reach a petition of 1 million or almost a million? Should be by the next 12 hours at the rate it's growing right now, which is one petition or one signing per second, as I'm seeing it. Is it gonna, like, has a collective been so obsessed with remaking this season? It's like, it's very hard for me to like it's going to be a hard job to do, because you have to bring all the actors in again, the actors who thought they were done and have a bunch of contracts. It's probably going to take longer than a year to schedule everything, because like planning, it has to be jumped in. You probably have to pay a lot of money, remastered CG, another CGI team, another whatever. There's going to be a lot of logistics involved. But if HBO does it, this is the greatest publicity stunt they'll ever pull off.
And exactly, I'm not disputing that it would be difficult to pull off, primarily because of the actors and scheduling and whatnot. But certainly financially it would not be an issue. And the only reason I say that is because if season 8 were not to happen, they would still have 2 more seasons, in theory, planned with higher budgets for each that they had intended for the show. So it's not out of their ballpark to remake season 8. We know that it's doable if they have enough to remake one season, let alone 2, with higher budgets. With 10 episodes.
Still make them 6. Just make them good.
See, that's part of the problem. I don't think 6 episodes was enough to jump from where season 7 ended to season 8. Because you need the whole Danny situation, which I'm not going to spoil, but you need the whole Danny situation to be fleshed out a lot better in this show. In the books, it is being done justice, but it still has a long way to go. In the show, they literally tried to pull it off in an episode.
No, here's how I do it. So you have 6 episodes, right? To me, it's a very simple idea. First 4 or 5 episodes, what you do is you, how do you describe this? Yeah, you deal with the Night King. You go to the Battle of Winterfell. Everything is fine and dandy. And then what happens is you have them either barely win the Battle of Winterfell or retreat from Winterfell to King's Landing. They go seek help. But Cersei's a little bitch with the Golden Company. The dead dragon flies over King's Landing. So now the plots are intertwined, and the the differences between men are, keep like constantly ripping them apart. The only thing that's possible is the dragons try to like rectify the situation, stop Viserion from doing anything. But a lot of messes happen. It escalates. The dead are everywhere. They're flooding Westeros, and Westeros is suffering really bad. They don't have dragon glass, right? But then John makes, or Danny makes the ultimate sacrifice, fulfilling the prophecy of Nisa Nisa, which is Azor Ahai stabs his lover Nisa Nisa's heart, and he forges Lightbringer, and they can make it metaphorically somehow. Danny sacrifices himself, giving up her throne to take out the Night King, and they can have the same thing. Night King dies, it's zombie effect. It's hive mind. It's the fucking Avengers. Everything dies. Everything falls, right? And then the last episode is them cleaning up, deciding on kingship, what's going to happen to Westeros after this huge blow. Clearly construct that could have been prevented if only men united together. And then you can have a bittersweet ending on how things go. Dany's dead, even though her dream was to take the Iron Throne. That's a sad ending. Let's say Jon Snow makes another ultimate sacrifice. Maybe he ends up in the north, like they've tried to set up. He decides to actually go north. And the question of kingship becomes nothing. The kingdoms collapse. They become independent kingdoms. Instead of being an Iron Throne, there's now a bunch of independent kingdoms. The north gets its independence. Dorne has its independence. There is no, like, Dany broke the wheel by separating the kingdoms and having them diplomatically deal with each other. That would be a decent ending. That would be something I can accept. And they can do it within 6 episodes.
Here's the question, though. Do you bring back Dumb and Dumber for the remake of season 8? No, you don't. That's the correct answer. Is we let D&D do whatever else. We let them Ryan Johnson Star Wars or other series that they want to do. We let them ruin it. And God, can you? The more the petition grows, the more that I have hope that HBO might consider doing it. But oh, the stain! Like it'll look good, right? The greatest publicity stunt of all time. But oh, like how like the pride that they're gonna lose, like missing the mark so hard the first time. A major company like HBO missed that. There are some people, and quite frankly, who just want it remade because they don't want the Starbucks cup in there anymore. And as soon as they saw that, they're like, "Yep, the quality's gone to shit. It's time to restart this."
Well, to be fair, they did remove the Starbucks in any future viewings, and it will be removed from whoever is most fortunate enough to buy the Blu-rays.
Yeah, the damage has been done, though. Like, the internet is undefeated. I have 4 Game of Thrones box sets, the first 4 seasons, and now I'm contemplating, because the ending was a big deal, and it's knowing that like those box sets lead up to that would hurt. So there are multiple reasons I'd be able to entertain why HBO should do what. Have you gotten your mic fixed yet, Babushka? Goddamn.
I got it fixed, but is the game good or whatever? And also, what I heard about the Game of Thrones thing is they're making a spin-off. That's why they're just rushing the shit out of season 8 or whatever.
No, they have the spin-offs. It's fine, but that doesn't excuse them from not ending the series proper. And it's David and Dan are not working on the new stuff. It's other producers and other writers. So HBO is working. HBO doesn't care. They wanted 10 seasons, but they don't care. They're making money. They love Game of Thrones on their network. It keeps people in. But David and Dan are the fucking guilty ones here. Like I feel so bad for actually like giving them slack throughout all the seasons. Now that I know that they literally cut the budget because they were too lazy to write the episodes.
No, when a humongous megalore company like that comes to you and says, "We love your product so much, we are willing to give you more money to close it out right." Right? Like you guys are the ones in charge. We wanted 10 seasons. We're backing off. We're heeding to your request of only 8 seasons. That's fine. But at least take 10 episodes for that 8th season. No. No, we want 6. What the fuck? Why 6? Because just cuz, right? Like they just shrug their shoulders. Like they're sitting right, they're laying back in their chair like we're dumb and dumber, like we made this. We can, they have some authority now that's not entirely entitled to them. Because again, I bring up the book example, but it's a sad fall from grace, and I have a hard time pinning the blame to other people besides D&D now.
Yeah, like I can't even blame Martin anymore.
Like Martin knew the situation that he was in, and he tried to savior it himself. All right, we're actually going to do more than 10 seasons, not only because it's a cash grab, and not only because it gives me time to finish the books, I guess, but because like it gives me time to conceptualize how the show's going to end. If I'm not even sure how the books are going to end, you're going to tell me that in a matter of a year, essentially, I have to figure out or have some groundwork as to how the show's going to end? You have a ton of other minds working on that as well, but no one knows the story like you do, so...
Yeah, well, I guess Dumb and Dumber kind of forgot that the internet has standards.
Yeah. Oh, they did respond, I hear, to the backlash.
What did they say? We're sorry.
They said,
what?
No, they said that Danny's whole situation was foreshadowed through 8 seasons, and you guys should have seen it coming. And people were like, "That's not the point. You can't just you can't fall back on the Danny thing because that's not all that's bugging people." And that's it. And then all the actors basically did the same passive aggressive, best season ever. Maybe they're still in contract to like smile and wave. Oh look, I'm Daenerys.
All right, let's what say.
The funny thing is, George R.R. Martin as a writer, he kills main characters, but D&D as writers, they killed the whole show.
No. Martin kills characters. David and Dan murder them.
They kill franchises, man.
Yes, they just. It's a crime scene. The Game of Thrones season 8 is a crime scene, and we need to investigate it.
Yeah.
No. I want to move on to another murder that happened.
Which is,
we suffered the downbeat. Let's appreciate some upbeat. So, the destroyer of fucking
of the libtards.
Yeah, no, the destroyer of teenagers who come on his fucking lectures, and Mr. 50,000 words per minute guy, Mr. Ben Shapiro, went to a BBC interview.
And that's all we got to say at this point.
Yep, and he got smacked so hard he left the fucking interview. And the smacking that's so hard is tame. It's just somebody asking a few questions about his stance on things. Mainly
it's from the BBC. You could not have scripted this any better for him to look bad.
It's like, and a part of me wants to cut him some slack. Maybe he's having a bad day, but you don't get out of a fucking interview because you're having a bad day, and you don't dance around the subject because you're afraid of saying your stance on it. And most importantly, you don't claim the interviewer who is from the left as your excuse or your rant. When your slogan is facts don't care about your feelings, and you get triggered by somebody asking you questions about your political stance, and then you leave the interview. It's bad. It's bad.
I have to keep mentioning this. He got bodied by the BBC. The BBC is like the daycare center of the news cycle. They get things they are so incredibly out of line with everything they do. They make CNN look like the savior. Dude, if you can't beat the BBC, oh, it's gonna like I encourage him to stay off of the internet for a while. Now he did own up to it, right? Immediately after he said that he was wrong for leaving and that he shouldn't have gotten it personal and yada yada yada. The point is this: no matter how you look at it or regarding your political affiliation, this leaves a stain on his quote unquote facts don't care about your feelings legacy. Because now the meme has turned against him. Ben Shapiro destroys liberal professor for asking him a question, which is what you're supposed to do, which is what he shows up to schools to do, is answer questions. Now it's, oh my God, do you see all the meme videos or all the memes in general? BBC dismantles, destroys Ben Shapiro.
Defiles Ben Shapiro.
Well,
it's so beautifully ironic in a way.
Oh, it's one of these things that you get what you deserve, right?
See, but is really, because like he's not the one making those titles. It's all like the hardcore, hard-on Ben Shapiro fans.
No, not the destroys part. The facts don't care about your feelings part. Right? When he shows up and outwords college students and they can't keep up with him because he has the main mic, right? He has the mic right here and the other guys don't have it. And anything he says, because he's on the top of the stage, gives him the advantage, and he uses that to overwhelm people. And then people start hyping him up as this great debater, and then he shows up and pulls off something like this. Does so badly when somebody just laughs at his, rate of words. He goes like, the other guy laughs and calls him ridiculous, and boom, that's it. That's all you need to do, of course, to beat a fast rate guy. You either slow him down or you make fun of him for being fast.
Dude, Ben Shapiro can beat Logic and Eminem together. God damn it. He talks really fast. Dude, like the fastest person, with like 5 words per second is my brother's wife. She doesn't shut up. She just doesn't shut up. Also, Aziz mentions that Ben Shapiro was on his Joe period. A Joe period is a guy beating his children to death, then go in the Middle East and just scream at a wall for no reason. That's a Joe period. And let us pay some respect by saying Happy Hanukkah.
Wait, is this factual? Is that what a Jew period is?
No, it's a joke because I'm a mushka.
You should hear the end, Trillion. Happy Hanukkah.
No, I know. Because I can see it. Like us in the Middle East, we're weird, man. Including our Jews. Even our Jews are weird, man. Like
they are. They are.
No. Now, Ben Shapiro got questioned by because of the Georgia abortion law, right? That's the thing that makes Fuzzy and the Uzi, right? And they're basically saying, okay, the punishments are unwarranted for the abortion laws. What, like 20 years, a fucking life sentence for aborting out of state because you're a state resident? That sounds ridiculous, right? Okay, enforce the laws within your own state, but you can't enforce people who are residents of your state to not even be able to get abortions elsewhere. It's like saying, oh, you can't go somewhere where it's legal to drink and come back. If we catch you, we're going to punish you anyway. And that, funny enough, they weren't against the abortion bill. They were against this very harsh, weird punishment, right? Which the BBC interviewer called barbaric, right? Now, the interesting part is the Georgia abortion law gets passed in 2 more states, Alabama and what?
Alabama and Mississippi, I believe.
So this is getting traction. I've already expressed my take on this, which I'm happy somebody's doing something finally, and it's not fucking. People are standing up to all the leftist agenda and SJW propaganda. Perhaps not in the best way, but somebody's doing something finally. And my only hope is that the U.S. is reasonable enough to reach a compromise between the two, and have a dialogue. They won't. It's the fucking United States of America, but you can always hope. You can always say this is somebody dealing a strong hand and hoping the other side is willing to sit on the other side of the table. This bill doesn't seem sustainable, but it does seem like it's meant to send a message.
Well, the primary message has always been, like I mentioned before, to challenge the monumental bill, which essentially makes abortion legal. And if they dismantle that, like they asked Ben Shapiro about, it would essentially leave the concept of abortion open to each individual state's legislature. So out of the 50 states, let's say like 35 of them allow abortions and the remainder don't, right? So that would be up to each individual state. The reason they want to push this is because they want the states to have that freedom as opposed to that overbearing law, which they consider to be barbaric. Because even individual states want the government less involved in their government, if that makes sense. And no, I mean, it was a very simple, it was a very direct question. And I have a theory about this. I think the reason Ben Shapiro took it so personally is because his wife is a doctor. I know he mentions it like every day, once an hour, but his wife is a doctor, and chances are she has her own opinions about this, and she's right, and then she's a woman too, so they probably had discussions. But I don't even have such a problem with conservatives disagreeing with the abortion bill or the concept of abortion to begin with, because we already saw multiple conservatives, one of which is Tommy Lauren, who is like a big name conservative here, go against it, and she surprised everybody because she's usually super right wing, but she went against the abortion bill. And she did so very calmly and cordially. There was no reason whatsoever why Ben Shapiro also couldn't follow that model, as opposed to, oh, you're just a leftist, right? Well, I'm more popular than you, so your opinion doesn't matter. Are we 5 years old here? Right? Are we those like 12-year-olds on Instagram? They're caring about how many followers we have. I got more likes than you, therefore I'm more popular. Are we on that boat?
From watching Ben Shapiro interviews, I've always seen him a bit uncomfortable with the things he is supposedly standing up for. So you know how like when you meet a Republican conservative and they say something dumb, they usually really believe it, right? So a Muslim cannot be president of the United States because you need to swear on the Bible, right, to get into office. And anybody who with any understanding of how anything works will be like, what? No, that's not the reason. What? But he's like, look at Donald Trump. He swore on the Bible. Yeah, because he's a Christian. That's his holy book, so he swears on the Bible, right? And then the guy gets dumbfounded by the new revelation. I think what's happening with Ben Shapiro is that he's struggling to between maybe it is because of his wife and the debates he has with her. Maybe not. I don't know anything about his wife, but I think he's struggling personally with altering his stance, and so he's trying to protect it. But he's trying to protect it in an apologetic way and a not so confident way. That's what the tone I get from his interviews. The only time where he gets the RPM going is when he's talking about like generic leftist agenda and how to counter it. But whenever you tackle something hard, for example, like how to coexist with the gays, how to
the gays.
What's the deal with abortion, all that stuff, you see him being very reluctant and very very low energy compared to his usual self or his usual facts, don't care about your feelings, RPM, fucking machine gun self. So it seems to me like he is more in conflict with himself than anything. And I think it finally showed in that interview where he would rather leave the interview and deface himself rather than answer a question which he himself cannot be honest with. Where in regards, he could have said, "I don't know." To be fair, he didn't. And
Yeah, plenty of people who were supposed to vote on the bill abstained. Clearly, it was something that conservatives were willing to do, and others willing not to do. My problem with Ben Shapiro, not much of a problem, more of a small criticism that I don't entirely blame him for, but he's always seemed like he's trying to keep up with the conservative agenda. There are plenty of people in the media that are way more conservative than he is, and I actually attribute his success to this, that he is one of the more moderate conservatives. And when he tries to keep up with some of the personalities on Fox News, it doesn't work because he can't. That's not him. And so, like, the Daily Wire is the most successful conservative outlet right now. And I always argue it's because it's it's still conservative. It still has an obvious lean in the conservative bias, but it's more moderate and more center-based than even the Fox News. And God forbid the other side of the coin, like the CNNs and the MSNBCs. He keeps a very moderate approach. And the problem is when he enters these interviews, everybody views him with the same way that they'll view like the Sean Hannitys of the world or the Laura Ingrams of the world. So they'll attack him with that same vigor, and he has to be ready for that, which is where the typical I don't know, or I don't have an opinion, or I need to think about this more, or I believe in this, this, and this, but also comes in handy because he's allowed to do that.
So now that we dissed the right a little bit, the conservatives, I want to just move the ballpark a bit over here, which relates, like, it's a great segue, right? Let's just move and diss the left a bit. So I watched an interview, or not an interview, like a debate panel. It was in Australia, land of the imprisoned. You can't say land of the free exactly.
No, it's land of the giant kangaroos and monster spiders. That's what it's the land of. There's never any reason to go to Australia ever.
Yeah, Australia was built by prisoners. God damn it!
No, it's basically the place where people are guests. You know, it's not the other way around. Where they're not the highest in the food chain. The hyenas and the giant spiders are. In any case,
no, the emus are on the top of the food chain or the war chain.
The birdies, right? The birdies that they can't kill. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. In any case, that's not important.
In any case, we watched this Jordan Peterson panel.
Yes. So there were a bunch of legislation makers, like two feminists. One of them being, the dignified feminist that sits there and whispers in your ear, "It's feminist agenda."
No, and then there is for you. One of which is like the fat, ugly cunt type.
Yeah, dude. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. One is just the whisperer, the feminist whisperer. The other is generic feminist number 13
from Tumblr.
Yes, fat hair, glasses, and the pretentious "I want to say something" attitude.
Oh no!
And every time somebody says something, even if it's another woman, like the typical.
Yeah,
like I can't sit still because I'm like 5 years old, and so is my ideology.
So they have two feminists. They have a transgender.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, he's a male who gave himself a vagina, and he's doing. And funny enough, because he used to be a guy.
He's the second most reasonable person on the panel. Yeah.
Amazing, right? Like, of course,
she. I will respect.
Comes from male genes.
I will respect her enough to call her she because she made good points. There was only like 3 of them, but nobody was asking her anything.
Then there was like this. No. Toby. We're gonna talk about the Batwoman trailer. We're gonna get to it. In any case, we're going by the topic list. So,
Everyone's waiting for that.
yeah. Then
Yeah.
there's this conservative sitting there, like regular guy with regular views. And then there's the guest appearance of Jordan Peterson. And the first thing that came to mind is like, why are you there? Right? You don't fit into this legislative body, In any case, he's there, right? And interview's dumb. Like everybody's like interrupting everybody as usual, and Peterson doesn't get to. Everybody's trying to attack Peterson for the usual lobsters, and then making money, and the general gist. And then it happens. Generic feminist number 13 goes on to make one of the most ridiculous statements I've heard in my life. She says, "I am a devout Catholic and a Marxist." Devout Catholic, Marxist. Devout Catholic, Marxist. What the fuck?
Now you know why that normal guy, when it was like his turn to talk, was like, I'm gonna give my minute to Jordan Peterson.
Yes, I love that. I love that. No, it was so bad of a statement that even Peterson engaged in the snarking. One guy was like, "How is this possible? You can't mix these two together." And she was like, "Then I cease to exist, lol." I got you, right? And then Peterson just dignifyingly says, "Only as a logical person." And of course, coming from a Canadian, he just threw a diss track on her entire family, right?
Legend has it the burn still hasn't worn off yet.
And I love how it just flew over the panel. Nobody acknowledged arguably the greatest diss that they did, and they've done a lot of stupid dissing that's pointless and not to the point. And Peterson has been like throwing bombs. I really recommend this interview. He's been throwing bombs, right? You can send it. We can put it in the comment section for whoever wants to see it.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Like Peterson's just on fire, but that's his top moment. But let's get back to that feminist. Being a devout Catholic basically means a lot of things, but being open-minded is not one of them. I'm sorry, all Catholics out there. If you're Catholic and you're a devout Catholic, then you have a very specific doctrine. You still listen to a pope, There's a reason, like the generic grandma is usually a Catholic, right? And she only listens to what the Pope says and all that. And then you go to Marxist agenda, which literally says religion is is the opium of nations, right? That's Marxist agenda, which is basically that the religion is just the excuse that people like. It's like a tool of the proletariat to inject, the values of hierarchy on our system. And in order to reach true communism, we need to abandon such ridiculous thought. That's Marxism, right? How do you mix these two together? How do you like immovable force or immovable object, unstoppable force, just slamming onto each other? How do you reconcile these? You don't. You can't. This is dumb. What are you saying? But Mr. Feminist, she's like, and I want to kill people. I see this and I want to kill people. That person is on a panel. People are listening to her. Some people are going like, she has a point. I should dye my armpits. Somebody is like somebody's listening to this.
Dude, like from her fucking stupid ass quote, I bet she brushes her teeth and swallows it after. Like, what do you mean? This doesn't make fucking sense. I bet one day she tries to fill her car up with gas and tries for 3 hours, for a guy to tell her that her car is actually electric. She's that dumb.
I have a feeling that happens more
How?
often than we think.
Oh, dude, I can imagine feminists like trying to own up to their thing and trying to fill in the gas and then failing at it and then blaming men for the next 3 hours.
Only the ones from Oregon, who I will never forgive that. The ones from Oregon don't know how to fill their own gas. How fucking incompetent in 2019, having to show up to another state and ask an employee to help you come fill your. Go fuck yourself.
Dude,
You ridiculous, useless. but back to the feminist.
Let's get
I actually my main focus, because see when I saw that, when I heard what that feminist that you're describing said, it hurt. Don't get me wrong. I lost some brain cells, but I always kind of expected it because I saw what she was from the beginning. I braced myself for it as soon as I saw her. I knew that she was going to drop some bombs. The one that I did not prepare for, and who at the beginning I actually thought would be one of the more reasonable ones, was the lady in black, or the lady in red with the black hair.
Yeah,
She looks like the devil and apparently is the devil in her way of thinking.
like as I said, she's the smart type, the feminist whisperer who seduces you into feminism by her soft tone, right? And yeah, exactly. Because the way it goes, like, what they do is you expect feminists to be loud again, armpits and the hair being like this and the piercings and the in your face attitude, and then you see this. Actually, feminism is a wonderful thing, and there's always something like I remember in epic rap battles. Whenever there's a whispery character doing his rhymes, a lot of people give him the win automatically, regardless of how good his flows were.
just like Rasputin.
Yeah, because like to them, a whisper gives them dignity or some higher form of whatever.
No,
Which
it's
is
the people, it's the idiots that are like, oh, whisper, that equates to introversion, and introverts are typically very smart because they keep themselves concealed, and thus they keep their thoughts concealed. And why am I fucking talking like this? I'm not one of them. I know what you mean. Yeah, and maybe I was fooled too. But she started talking, and
poison comes out.
no, she makes a point. Remember her straw man argument? Right? When
Right?
she calls Jordan Peterson one giant straw man, and he actually
Yeah.
gets triggered by it. He loses it.
Yeah, because it's
That's not a
ridiculous.
straw man. No, it's her. She's talking about masculinity, and she essentially says that the difference between masculinity and toxic masculinity and blah 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 blah. She eventually comes to the conclusion that toxic masculinity has no difference to masculinity. That all masculinity is basically toxic, which is the thing that everyone on the panel, except for the other feminist, was fighting against. And Jordan Peterson basically calls her out on it and says that's not what it is. If you have to make the distinction between masculinity and the traits and what classifies them as masculine, and she calls it a straw man. That's not a straw man. That's a distinction being made.
Yeah. That's an argument that should be discussed. A straw man eliminates the possibility of the existence of the argument.
And you'll know it when you get to that part. Peterson just loses it for a couple seconds.
Dude, Peterson loses it, I think, 3 times. And my favorite one is like, I don't remember what he said exactly, but he said something and everybody laughed, like, because it proved his point or something. It's a Peterson interview. Watch it, people. It's fun.
How about the woman that tries to ask him a question in the process of attacking him? And he claps back. And he claps back promptly, saying, well, it's kind of difficult. He goes full professor mode because he is a professor, going, how about you try asking the question in a constructive method?
No. The way it goes, let me describe this better to provide context. So she goes like, she asks this dumb question and then ends it with, do you have an actual answer besides something as banal as cleaning your room? And he's like, I don't know how you can respond politely to somebody how to answer politely to somebody.
You just called your entire stance benign.
Benign. So can you rephrase the question, please? And she got flabbergasted by, again, Canadian politeness. Right? Canadian politeness is something new, and it's fresh to see. How you can insult somebody without saying a single cuss. And she rephrases the question, and he just trashes her again with no fucking, with never an insult. Saying like it's just beautiful. It's just mwah. Peterson, you are a god amongst debaters.
No, and you will know this interview once you see it, because a lot of this, I've seen this interview in memes before. Like, it's meme material, and that's how you know it's good.
I can't get over that feminist, man. The wiggly tiggly, because there's always a her around. Have you noticed?
Yeah, a lot.
Because look,
like they're clones. I swear. Ultron. Ultron exists in the real world, but it's just fucking bunch of feminists being copied all over the world. I swear, I've seen that link in the feminist debate we've had.
We've seen her. She takes over the universities, so that she's everywhere. But the reason they do bring him in is because they feel inclined to have like the professor's take on it. How is the school system looking at this in this day and age? So they bring in Peterson, and for some reason, they're all educators, by the way, every person on the panel. But I could have dealt with the whisper feminist, because it's like, she's not irritating to listen to unless you actually start listening to what she's saying. But she's pretty soft on the ears, right?
Yeah, and she's not rude. She took her minute, and she talked, and maybe what she said was horrendous, but at least she's saying it, right? Politely, and hearing responses, and then putting her own responses. Like, again, the way the other person did it is just like, taking this mic and like shaking it rapidly every time somebody says anything remotely against her agenda.
My point, yeah, exactly. My point is, I can make without the whole. I swear to you, people, watch the interview. Whenever the camera's on her, it's a literal. She can't sit still. It gives people with ADHD.
Excuse me? Don't offend me because I have hemorrhoids. Okay? It's serious.
Oh, I'm surprised she didn't pull that at the beginning of the interview. So before we get started, I'm a feminist, and I have insert generic fucked up dysphoria degrees here.
AKA hemorrhoids from Chipotle. If I farted, I can shit out my, my fucking thick intestines because I don't have a word for it. Because I'm a feminist.
Have you heard this one before? It's like, okay, we're going to get started. We're going to have a conversation. But first and foremost, I'm bipolar. Or I'm Jewish. Or I'm anything.
What? Dude, in Kuwait, we have a brilliant term for whenever somebody says something irrelevant. Whenever somebody, like, let's say, like Babushka came and is like, by the way, I'm the Russian prophet, right? Just randomly, right? The first thing somebody would tell you if you say that, shtevi, right? Shtevi, which is basically, yeah, it's like, okay, should I clap? Should I should I bow? What do you want? Why are you telling me this information? And
I love Kuwaiti language.
This piece of cultural literacy has crushed so many feminists' dreams and so many like wannabe great men's ability to do anything here, because the sarcasm level is way too high. We won't forgive you for anything. You're pretentious. We'll smack you, and it'll be funny. We don't do it because we're offended. We're doing it because we want to offend you. We're bullies here, right? To people who are pretentious, and I think the West needs some of that now. You need to be bullies again. Bring the bullies back to the schools. People need it.
You know me. I am a huge proponent of bullying. I do think it works. I do think, however, that there was always a balance. bullying has become a problem here because the school people are still bullying. But the school systems here, anyway, have decided to take a step back because now everything's supposed to be politically correct. And so everybody just assumes that everyone is going to enforce that political correctness. And because of that, nobody gets the help they need. Not the person being bullied, not the bully himself. And so that's why I always encourage people, you have to deal with your own bullshit, which is good because it helps build character. But when it's gotten to the point now where bullies can get sued and their families can get sued here, like kids aren't even allowed to be kids anymore.
And actually, I want to bring this up. I watched this video. There's a channel called Knowing Better, right? I watched a video that I liked on like the crimes Japan committed and are denying against the Chinese. You know, the rape in Nanjing, comfort women, blah blah. I already knew about the topic. I saw it on YouTube. I'm like, ooh, something I'm interested in. Let's click. And I've seen him present the information well. So I'm like, all right, okay, let's see more of this guy. And so I watch him claim that talking about like the Fourth Reich, the neo-Nazis, and like how they exist in modern media. And he brought up a fucking Jordan Peterson interview, claiming that he uses the same signaling that the neo-Nazis do. And one of the signalings, of course, saying that Hitler wasn't that bad, or giving him like a mental health issue or something like that, and reducing the impact of the Holocaust, and then saying that like there was a time where he was like blah 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 Third Reich, and he continues, and he's like, that's another signal. And to me, I watched this and I'm like, listen, this doesn't sound right. He was good in the first video, but in this video it seems weak. So I decided to investigate. I opened his channel, I started watching more, and I came across his the straight white man's guide to feminism and social justice. Right? I'm like, okay, fine, I'll click. And it's a 40-minute video, and I'm a very patient man. I would watch. I made some dinner. I'm like, eating my sandwich. I cut my mangoes. I'm drinking my soft drink, just listening to this guy. And I swear,
And what
they
did you
shouldn't.
learn, Julian? What did you learn at the end of that 40-minute mango run?
I haven't seen somebody so sorry for being feminist.
You mean white?
No. Here's the funny part, right? He's basically he's like, I used to be like you guys, but now I understand the feminist perspective. And I want to show you that you can too. And I'm going to show you like that you guys can see it. And it's not this crazy. They're not crazy. They're trying to tell you something, but in the wrong way. And if only it's presented better. And let me tell you guys. And he starts listing the things. He's like, the pay gap, it's not the way they say it. It's that but there is some consistency in the pay gap. Let me show you. And it's just so apologist for supporting the feminist view. Now that sounds wonderful, right? It sounds like somebody, okay, somebody's trying to open up for us. Nope. Everything he says is fucking horrendous. A lot of times he's not giving facts. A lot of times he's giving opinions. He's telling you to trust him and take his word for it. He's bringing out histories and stories instead of statistics and examples. And for example, he's like, it took me 76 tries to get a job. Well, if I was a woman or I was a black man, it would have probably taken 100 or 167. And I'm like, wait, no, that's a leap. That's a logical leap. You bring out stats here. Because again, just because a company doesn't hire you doesn't mean, it means nothing. You need stats. You need multi-layered factors. You just don't make assumptions like that, right? He's just making all these logical leaps and it's passing all over people's heads. And I personally like, I don't consider myself the smartest individual out there, but it takes more to fool me. All right, and I feel offended that that's the level you chose to try to fool me.
I think the real question here, because I know the exact type of guy that you're talking about. Somebody needs to ask this guy if he's ever been laid before. Flat out. I've noticed this contingency, this consensus with most male feminists. They want pussy so bad, and they want to be accepted by women so bad that they're willing to adopt an ideology created by people and enforced by people that don't even really like them as allies.
They don't want allies. They want servants. They want slaves. I love, like, again, going back to that Peterson panel thing. Dude, they implied everything. They did everything except say the words, "We don't want equality. We want power." Have you noticed?
Well, I've noticed it for years.
Oh, no. In that particular panel, they were practically admitting it. They just didn't say those words in particular.
Yeah, they still hid behind the equality word a little bit, but I know what you mean.
Yeah,
equality doesn't mean equality anymore in 2019. I think we should clarify that for anybody who's wondering. Whenever you hear the word equality, it's not as multi-layered and it's not as blunt as it is anymore. Like, people would either take it one of two ways. They would either dissect it to its very core to extrapolate exactly what people wanted when they said that word, or it would be interpreted in a very basic perspective in which people claimed, all right, we want equality. There's rainbows above everything and everything's going to be okay. And nobody really dissected it, but everybody was just kind of like, yeah, equality, right? That's a buzzword, right? That's a fun word everybody likes. Let's roll with equality. That word does not have the same meaning for either of those extremes anymore. Equality, no matter who uses it, is beginning to mean power. And dare I say, it has to do because of fourth wave feminism.
Well, I'm at loss for words. I've said my piece. Do you guys want to continue this topic, or?
To expand, people just hide behind that word is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, of course. Like, equality, dude. I hate debating feminists because they always want to sound reasonable, right? Oh, we're not like the other feminists. We're different. All we want is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, N, blah, blah, blah. You know, they turn into fucking like Shapiro. You know.
Here's the thing.
Right?
I'd be more willing to have a conversation with somebody who is willing to accept and admit to me that they're not reasonable yet in their frame of thinking, but that they're honest with it. Because honesty puts everything on the table right there. And then we can work with what we have. But the people that are just subtly giving those jabs and hiding behind equality, number one, it's typically easier or more difficult to determine what they want. And second of all, you can typically tell that it's bullshit. Because again, you don't want equality. You're using that word because everybody else is using that word, because the word in and of itself means something. And it means what you want people to believe that what you're fighting for, it means.
At this point, you don't know whether you're talking to a person or you're talking to a cult. It's indistinguishable. That again, that generic feminist number 13 and generic feminist number S41, because she's more robotic, right? The one in red.
Yeah, the cyborg Satan.
Yeah, they're both archetypes, right? There isn't, like, you see them and it's like, are you even a person? Do you eat? Do you, like, sew your clothes? Do you have hobbies? It doesn't look like it. Like, are you a person? Like, Peterson again. Like, whenever he talks, he's spontaneous. He tells stories about his past. you ask him a very hard question, you see him pausing, and sometimes like, I remember that one they asked him about suicide once, and he's trying to explain it, and then he pauses, and then like there was like like he started like wailing or like just
Yeah,
speaking
it breaks
very
down.
and yeah, he breaks down on camera. Is like, sorry, like we've been dealing with a lot of depression in the family and with suicide and all that, and I know what you're going through. It's horrible, and he just like just goes on an emotional outtake. Right? He's a person. You see it, and it's like, that's somebody I can listen to. And then you see the feminists, and it's just copy paste agenda talk. Like, is there a chip somewhere? If I activate an EMP, will you fall down?
No,
You know?
bro, you just you basically just go to one of these conferences, and like you said, there's always a couple of these in here, and there's no real difference to what they're saying. And when there's multiple of them, they tend to have problems overlapping properly, right? Because it's like that person said what I memorized. I went to this website with all these stats that imply everything and enforce and confirm everything that I've been thinking, and I just memorize the facts. And then when it comes up, I just list them one by one. And what ends up happening is there's a little bit of that Ben Shapiro treatment where you try to overwhelm people with the facts. And here's the thing with arguing with the feminists, one of the hardcore ones that clearly hasn't thought themselves out of a plastic bag. If you wait them out, they run out of things to say very quick. And the repetition starts around like the 5th minute. Because they've said their opening spiel is every single stat that they memorized. The pay gap, the women in the workforce that work in this sector versus this sector, and they don't spontaneously pull out their facts or their reason even when a situation demands it. What they do.
Hey, do you remember that video? I think you showed it to me, or I showed it to you. I don't remember, but I remember us reacting to it at some point, which is of that feminist who like starts screaming at a gentleman, and he just walks away from her, and she chases him, and then he has to go to security to tell her to go away, and then she just goes and breaks down crying.
Is that the humongous clip? Like the guy that makes the humongous joke?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Fucking
And she's like,
hell.
did you just
Holy shit.
Did you sexually harass me? Did you just sexually harass me?
No, I'm just saying that I'm humongous.
Yeah, this man sexually assaulted me. And she goes from harassed to assaulted real quick.
Yep. And and that's when she just starts crying, man. It warms my heart, but it's a perfect example of what you're saying. They start throwing words, mansplaining, manscaping, maleism, armpits. Shit, I'm out. I'm out.
Here's how it goes.
Dungism.
Here's the process. Here's how it usually goes. If you have like a normal like high school debate, right? You get like 3 turns, right? In a high school debate, right? You put a feminist on the stand. This is how it goes. They have their opening spiel, which is every single thing they researched. They memorized it. They put it in order. They wrote notes on it. They just read down the list. That's their first turn. The second turn, assuming that somebody already refuted them, the second term is them restating all of those facts
while doing this.
Yeah, just saying it a bit louder.
Me, guys. Yeah, jump with me, guys. Please support me. Yeah.
The third term, and I only know this because I've seen it in debate courses in high school and in college, they don't use the facts anymore.
They start attacking you.
They use personal anecdotes and try to virtue signal, or they attack you personally, or they cry wolf or sexual harassment or something of the sort. Like, if you don't agree with me, then you are anti-woman.
No. What do you mean? You are.
Yeah, and if you disagree with her, all hell breaks loose.
They did that in that feminist debate we had thing on in our place, where there's first, inclusiveness tactic, which is, I believe everybody here believes in women's rights, so technically everybody here is feminist. And if you say you're not, then oh no, you're technically feminist. It's a fact of nature.
No. But that's a trick. That's a trick that some of the smarter ones, not by much, but some of the smarter debaters actually try to use. This can actually be interpreted as a bit of a straw man, because Toby the Nomad
Oh, it is.
mentioned it. It's an overbearing argument that is supposed to like misconstrue a previous argument. In this
It's a leap
case,
of logic, yeah.
it's a leap of faith, right? In this case, a person who says that is everyone here believes in women's rights. Therefore, everyone here is a feminist. They're setting you up to disagree with them to where they can paint you out to be, oh, so you don't support women then. So, it's not that I'm not a feminist. If you claim you're not a feminist in that situation, they use you as an attack tactic. Oh, well, that means you're anti-woman. Because if you're anti-feminist based on my definition that I just laid out on the table, then that means that you are anti-woman because you're not for the women's rights, which would make you a feminist by my own definition. That is a straw man if I've ever heard one.
I want to extend this topic to somebody a lot of people have been waiting for. Looking at you, Toby. Looking at you, Aziz. Looking at you, Abushka. You want to see just how bad feminism got. Just how much they're willing to antagonize us and make us hate them. How much they're drawing a line in the sand and just waiting for us to declare war. What the fuck was Batwoman?
Oh,
How many
the
dollars have they wasted now? Because some people know. We just know you see something, automatic flop. Ghostbusters. Plenty of examples out there. Yes.
Dude.
What the fuck happened to Batwoman?
No, look, you're the female Bruce Wayne. Yeah, strong, intelligent, handsome. Yeah. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is wrong with all of you? What's going on here?
First of all, let's hold on. Let's start at the beginning. All right, we have to build up the rage.
yeah. Let's just stop big words and start with good jokes. Okay.
Let's start with Exhibit A. All right.
All right,
First
all
and
right,
foremost,
yeah.
if you have not watched the trailer, we're gonna be building up to this for a while. So go watch it real quick. It's 3 minutes of your life. Granted, it's 3 minutes you'll never get back. But if you want to feel like you're a part of this community, go fucking watch it. Go leave it an honest rating too. Pay no attention to the like-dislike ratio whatsoever. But Exhibit A, that they were bound to make this fail. People wanted Batwoman. That's fine. They wanted a Batwoman series. They did not want Ruby Rose playing.
Oh yes,
Batwoman.
yes. Why her? Dude, if you looked at her face, it's like Justin Bieber with a shaved armpit.
Dude, it looks like James Charles in the thumbnail.
We're gonna talk about James Charles after that.
Oh,
Just go
That's
on. With
fine.
Dude, I was doing I was close to just taking after my fourth time watching the trailer, because I like to torture myself. Just like if this person was in front of me, if this actor, whatever she is, sits in front of me, she's gonna get smacked, and I'm like, go to the kitchen. Oh no, don't demonetize us, Twitch. What's wrong with you? Dude, how is it feminism to do everything a guy does and just say, oh, but it's woman now? And that's what she is, right? That actress. She just wants to be a guy. And some girls own it, but they don't show it off. They're just tomboyish and they do tomboyish things and they don't give a shit. No, she's like, I am boyish. I do man things. I kiss the woman on the lips. I lick the vagay.
No, look, I mean, it's Ruby Rose. She's an outspoken lesbian, and that's fine. They were bound to make Batwoman take liberties in that regard. No one has problems with that part, believe it or not. At least not as many parts. It's the part. Maybe it's the part that it's so blatant and in your face
Again,
Even
the
from the
Kuwaiti thing.
beginning.
It's the Kuwaiti thing. What do you want? What do you want? To clap?
Well-
Here, clap. Go away. You know?
Well, she just got bored because she finished Orange is the New Black and she wanted a new role. That's why she got the Batwoman thing.
There here's the thing with fan bases. They're not always right, but they're always on to something. I believe in that. Maybe they didn't know who they wanted to be the actress for Batwoman, but they sure as hell knew they did not want it to be Ruby Rose as soon as they announced it.
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
Because she changes her facial expression like twice in the entire trailer. Because you know for a fact that you know for a fact that this is going to be top tier acting, let's be honest. And then it's going to be top tier virtue signaling and top tier antagonization against it. And here's the way it's going to be framed. It's not going to be directed entirely towards men, but it's going to be the equivalent of hiding behind the whole equality argument, right? I can't wait for the articles claiming that a bunch of sexist pigs dislike this trailer. There's plenty of women that I've spoken to that don't like this trailer because Batwoman is an icon to them. And can we just talk about how many icons we keep losing to these freak shows? You know, these people that they want to use characters for their agendas, even though that was never their intention to begin with. Batwoman's a superhero. She's supposed to be fun. She fights crime.
Oh, here's moving past that. Let's click play, right? Let's click play and have the movie play out, right? And first, Batman is nowhere to be around. You know how to set up a DC TV show. Remove the actual main character. Very good. All right, that's established. Number 2.
Why though? What kind of dude? As soon as I heard that, I got triggered. Batman has abandoned us. No, he hasn't.
Dude, he just fucking disappeared for no reason, like bang, just like that. How?
Batman I'm pretty sure, and that
Batman
Batwoman and Batman work together, and then eventually
No.
Batwoman goes solo because a character give her own dynamics and whatnot. But Batman abandoned the city. That's the one thing Batman would never do. It's so out of his character. For all of his cynicism, it's not in him.
He developed influenza. It's natural. It was just gone for a week, But then she came along and stole his suit, apparently.
But it's not a perfect suit. Remember?
How about making a series about a fucking 1 week vacation? Batman transitioning to Batwoman. God damn it! And he just pulls a Black Dad and just disappears from Arkham itself.
No, and then she finds the bat. I think we've given people enough time to go find the trailer and watch it. She finds the Bat Cave, and she finds Batman's suit, which I don't know who is the black guy, the black kid supposed to be? It's a kid. The black kid, is he supposed to be Alfred?
I fucking hope not.
Or is he like? Or is he just supposed to be like an employee working in the Wayne? That makes more sense, hopefully. But like, she finds the suit and is explained very genuinely that the suit is literal perfection, not because I made it or because I can tailor it or anything, but because Bruce Wayne made it and it's suited for him.
Right.
It will be perfect when it adds a strap on or when it fits me, like.
No.
When it fits a woman. She doesn't even say that. You're right. When it fits a woman, that's what she says.
When it fits a woman.
Dude, I don't hate women. I swear to God. But you're making it difficult for me. Like you're making me hate these female characters on purpose, I think.
Next thing you know,
she could have said.
Wait. Next thing you know, the black kid is actually Robin.
No, I don't care about that right now. I like it. It could
No,
happen, but
my favorite comment in that trailer was Batwoman trailer comes out, Sonic trailer sighs in relief. Whew. Oh my god! Oh my god!
oh, there's
We're done.
always, you know
We're
that
saved,
saying.
people.
You know that saying. There's always someone better than you at something. The reverse is also true. If you're ever having a bad day, just know that there is someone somewhere who fucked up harder than you did today.
Oh,
I
and
just there is so many hard, like I got Mike Tyson so many times with this trailer. Right. And
hurts.
I'm not gonna
Hurts.
let a woman take, or I'm not gonna let a man take credit for a woman's work. You
After
literally broke into the Batcave, took all of his shit, and then took his identity too, and just added WO in the name.
I swear, every quote that bitch makes in the trailer can be followed with.
And here's the thing: there's a silver lining in this because it's not, the writing is not Ruby Rose's fault. But oh
No,
god, like,
no, it isn't. It's a collective effort, you know. It's a bunch of people who thought this was a good idea. It's the Dumb and Dumber situation again. A group of people sat and actually thought this was a good idea. I continue to be shocked and amazed. You know, if this is a team of writers, as it's supposed to be, and there are, like, let's say 5 writers in a writer's room sitting down and writing this down, and how in any possibility is this collective effort turning out to be this horrible? It's impossible. Dude, look at Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was bitched at for being feminist propaganda. It had one scene where there was actual feminist propaganda that's not related to the character Captain Marvel from the books or the plot of the story. One feminist scene where she rises up and breaks through her locks and then starts blasting people, Captain Marvel style. You know, this fucking trailer, not even the show, just the trailer makes this look like makes Captain Marvel look like anti-feminist propaganda. So it makes it look like the product of the right. You know, they're not trying to empower females.
Dude, at this rate, I have to assume that they're trying to shame them. And you brought up Dumb and Dumber again. Here's the difference, though. In Game of Thrones, you have the terrible writing, but you have amazing actors who are like they
Carry
can still,
things,
they
yeah.
can still carry the scenes
try-
and deliver
tried.
on them. Ruby Rose has never been acclaimed as a good actress. She's hot to some people, and that's why she got her role in, like, Orange is the New Black. And she fit that dynamic perfectly. That's why she got that role. Batwoman, I'm afraid, needs to be taken a little bit more seriously. But I guess not, because it is owned by the CW. It's been known that the CW stands for cringeworthy at this point. It so many bad shows. And why is it only DC too?
Because Marvel is smart enough not to offend both audiences. In any case, I just realized something. about the trailer. So the thing that encourages Mrs. Feminism to walk into, I'll call her Femi woman. Is that Wayman? All right. The reason Wayman.
Ruby Rose is a lesbian who has Tourette syndrome, and her tics is only biting her lip and fucking woman.
Well, we're gonna get to that. It's actually that's the relevant point. In the trailer, she starts her arc to become Batwoman because her supposed love interest gets kidnapped, and her love interest is a woman. And I just love how the feminist propaganda to empower women and show that women are powerful is through the damsel in distress story arc.
What now?
The damsel in distress, you know, princess is locked in a castle, and Mario needs to go get her.
Except Mario has a vagina now.
Yeah, except Mario has the vajayjays. It's literally damsel in distress. Like,
And here's the thing, right? Because I was having a discussion. I was talking to Trillian about this beforehand, actually. The thing with Batwoman is that a lot of people questioned why they decided to roll with Batwoman as opposed to Batgirl, who is easily the most iconic female character in that regard, right? I would argue she's the second most iconic female character that DC has to offer besides Wonder Woman. Why did they decide to roll with Batwoman as opposed to Batgirl? I don't fucking know, but I'm so glad they did. Although I do have a theory. One, woman sounds a lot better than girl, clearly. But also, if they went with the Batgirl storyline, which I pray to God that they do not try to pick up and ruin that as well, they would have to make Barbara Gordon, right, Batgirl, have a relationship with Robin. And we can't have that, can we?
Man. Having a regular straight relationship in a TV show? Are you insane? How dare you?
I will warn the CW, though, or anyone at this point in time. There are certain characters that are so beholden that if you touch them the wrong way, they came out wrong. But you know what I mean? You will never recover. The internet will make sure that you never stand from that again. Batgirl is one of those characters. I'm not sure if you meant to dodge a bullet on purpose, but we've seen the DC universe try to expand with the CW. They did Supergirl, no one cares. They did Arrow and a bunch of characters that are small enough but big enough to still, I guess, survive for a few seasons. They're getting into more mainstream territory now. Mark my words, CW. If you touch Batgirl incorrectly, the internet will never let you live that down. That is Wonder Woman status. That is Batman and Superman status. That is Spider-Man status. That is, dare I say, at this point in time, even Captain Marvel status. You do not want to touch those characters.
Well, I still think you're giving the characters too much, or the writers too much credit. I think the way it went was let's make a Batgirl movie. No, Batwoman. She's not a girl. She's a woman. All right.
Yeah.
And then
so much thumbnail material. It's unbelievable.
It's a massacre. It's a massacre. Feminists are killing themselves and females and everybody around them, just killing quality. Just Kali, the goddess of death, death of destruction or something or another. In Hinduistic mythology, she has 4 arms and swords on them, and she just swings them around. That's what they're doing.
Like a character from Star Wars.
The General Grievous.
Yeah.
They're just wipe. Let's just blah, 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 just.
No, okay. Here. Toby brings up a good point. I was thinking about this, but I'm glad that you brought it up and reminded us. Batgirl, right? She gets crippled by the Joker, right?
Yes, she does. Killing joke.
And that would have been, I believe you, that would have been a storyline that would have been so interesting to explore in live action.
They would never.
Right? Because they don't want the transition to Oracle, which is one of the most genius transitions in comics, mind you, right? But they don't want that. Although, dare I say that you would have had plenty of time to build up to that. But why am I even pleading for this? I don't want them to touch Batman.
No.
Same with I don't want them to touch Batman or anything else.
Louis, here's the thing. You need to understand this. The Killing Joke comics and animated segment is a very edgy and very dark piece for comics, for the scale of comics, right? Mm-hmm. So, but you need to understand, the way the feminists do edge is through weird haircuts, painting armpits, and adding piercings here. This is far too edgy for them, right? They can't touch it. A woman gets violated to prove a point. The Joker violates Batgirl and cripples her, stealing away her source of power. This is a misrepresentation. I feel raped. When I watched it, I felt raped.
Dude, it's one of the most gruesome and beautifully written transitions in comics. That's why people adore her as a character. The
Yep.
transition she makes to Oracle. That's why I'm pleading, do not touch her. And Aziz, you're triggering us even more here. Batwoman and Batgirl are different.
No. The reason he doesn't know that is because Batgirl is such a prominent figure in the DC canon that Batwoman just gets sidelined.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense. But basically, the difference is Batwoman is Batman's cousin, and Batgirl is the Commissioner Gordon's daughter that eventually also finds out about Batman. She finds out the truth about Batman before her dad does, which is kind of sad considering that she's not a detective yet. She's like a high school student, whatever.
No, women power. You know, she can walk into places and not be stopped by security. Obviously, because the second they touch her, rape. You know,
It is the best superpower of all time.
Yeah, just calling rape whenever.
Oh my god, dude! Like similar to Game of Thrones. Like I didn't think there was anything that could challenge it this week, but we mentioned it at the beginning, right? There are so many things that happened this week. I'm out of breath talking about this. This hurts as well. This stings.
This hits deep, man. It's too many things were butchered, and some of them good, Ben Shapiro. Some of them bad, but I'm sad. Okay, like we didn't need another L. You know, Endgame. Like we took too many L's this year. Endgame was an upbeat, certainly, but what else? I can't point to anything else in particular. Did Kamikaze drop this year? Like Eminem's album?
I think it was last year.
No,
Yeah,
last.
just I can't give this year anything. And I graduated this year, man.
I'm sorry. I know. There is. God damn it, Aziz. Who is Oracle?
Dude, Aziz, his extensive knowledge of fiction is a mahjong anime, and whatever his brother made him watch when he was alone in the States. You're basically talking to a 60-year-old man trying to learn about the current rap music.
Wait. We're talking about the Mahjong anime, whatever he saw in the States, the whole Islamic Sharia, and Paladins.
Yeah, Aziz is the word human being. Everybody subscribe to Darkrai Q8.
Yes, best channel on the YouTubes.
Yeah, get him out. Give him exposure.
Link your channel.
Yeah, link your channel.
Sub your channel.
Sub. Yes, sub for sub. I miss sub for sub. They even killed sub for sub.
And that was this year too. I'm telling you, this is the year that has been hurting me in the soul.
PewDiePie got surpassed by these. Like, what do we have left? Epic Rap Battles is back. I guess.
I did watch.
James Charles is losing a lot of subscribers.
Okay, what exactly did he do? You said let's transition to that. I think that
let's do that.
We've dismantled Batwoman enough.
Yes, let's move on. Let's move on to another cringe. Let's do
this. In conclusion, it's bad.
Yeah, the conclusion, yeah. But let's start with the story of James Charles and Tati. Okay, so this story starts with Tati, helping James Charles. He's a 19-year-old gay YouTuber who does makeup tutorials and whatever. He starts with the "Hi sisters." Okay, if you don't know him, and he's basically sponsoring Tati's products and whatever medical products, makeup shit. He just opened his first store in Australia. One day, he had advertises another company, making medical shit and makeup and other feminine bullshit. Tati calls him out in a video, like a 43-minute video, saying or titled "Bye Sisters," which is 43 minutes of exposing him, and her saying that she felt used, and he basically cheated on her and whatever. She exposed him by being a predator against straight men, which was an incident with him, Tati, and her husband. They were in a restaurant. There's this waiter, and he was like a generic gay quote, "I want to suck your dick," or whatever. He was like, "I'm straight. I only like girls," and whatever. He was like, "No, you didn't get it. I'm a celebrity. You have to do it." He's just being a predator.
So,
And yeah,
from the way I understand it, after that video, he's been like his subs just like plummeted, and people are just like mass unsubscribing to him. Everybody like just couldn't take it anymore. I don't know
Oh
if I
my
should.
god. Did this guy's face get even more punchable?
Of course,
yep.
dude. Feminism does not the punchable feminism SJW faces only get more punchable with time as they grow older. The older they get, the more punchable they are. It's in the wrinkles. Like the wrinkles develop feminism.
No, his wrinkles are filled with sparkles.
Yeah.
This guy's a bigger fruitcake than Milo Yiannopoulos. Oh my god. Like I had
Milo.
vaguely known who he was, but
Yeah. Toby says he lost 2 million subs. Imagine that, Louis. Losing
Okay,
all our 2 million subs. That's
okay,
painful.
how much did that idiot who like filmed people hanging themselves in the Japanese forest lose?
What's his name? Fuck. What's his name, Abushka? You're our reference.
Wait, what?
The guy who went to that suicide forest in Japan?
Oh,
the box-
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. How many subs did he lose for that stunt?
Well, it was like 700,000 or whatever, 500,000, I think.
Oh jeez. So even James Charles lost more.
He got a fucking world record.
World record. That's got to be something, right?
Might as well just hit on the fucking Guinness World Record announcer and try to suck his dick, although he's fucking straight, saying, "I'm a celebrity too. I just got a world record and I'm gonna suck your dick."
Dude, Louis, imagine this. Somebody comes to you. I don't know, like Gordon Freeman, right? Oh, it's just his name. The black
Morgan
everybody-
Freeman.
Yeah, there we go.
Gordon Freeman.
I don't know
Where's-
names. And he walks up to you and he goes with a sexy voice. Can I suck your dick?
Oh, really sexy? That's what you define it as?
Isn't that what the females call it? Like
No,
charismatic?
it's majestically documentarian.
All right, Darwinian.
Show me your shrimp.
Show me your big rooster, right?
Yeah, he belongs making he belongs making voiceovers for Penguin movies. That's about it.
And then you say no because you're straight, right? And then you're like, okay, no, thank you. Okay, I like you as a celebrity. I'd like your signature, but I don't want your mouth, And he goes, no, you don't understand. I'm a celebrity. You have to do it. As he unbuttons his or unwinds his belt. Just imagine the scene. And now just put Charles instead.
No, Toby, I know who Logan Paul is. I just couldn't remember the name. I'm not acting dumb.
Wait.
Show me your
is that-
little sister.
Hold on. Hold everything. Is that Infernape in the fucking comment section?
Is that Oh my god. Okay, hold on a second. Right before I started the stream actually, I was linked that video. You put me at a B tier on that list of yours. That's pretty generous for somebody who hasn't put out a video in like 3 years. So we cool still.
Yeah, hi, Infernape. We miss you. Still, continue making pointless videos that 3 people watch, but we watch them. We're the 3.
I'm the 3. I watch it 3 times.
It's me
I
as
don't know
something. But
he called me a Walmart. Never mind. We're not getting into this. This is neither the time nor the place.
all right. So I want to get into something, and it's a question for you, U.S. fucking weirdos. What's your heavy cruiser doing in our Gulf, and why is it aimed at Iran? Do you guys even know about this?
kebab
We're
harbor.
not on the best terms with Iran at the moment.
Well,
What
yeah.
the fuck is happening with it?
Basically, like a heavy cruiser's parked in the Gulf doing this, right? And just looking at like across the bay, just looking at Iran, and that's it. And you're like, you don't have the balls, better nations have tried and failed. You don't have the balls.
No, hold on. We have the balls. I'm not saying we'll succeed, but we do certainly have the balls. We will do it.
But do you know who's gonna stop you?
Who's gonna? How do you mute people again?
You're gonna stop you, bratuch, bleed.
You know what? I've been itching for some entertainment. Let's make it happen.
Dude, I'm like, can we agree that Iran did not break the nuclear deal? Can we agree
Can
on
we
that?
agree that has never our legislator has never given a shit about that in the past ever?
Can you guys like construct a coup d'etat or something? Because your government is fucking insane.
Listen, Trillion.
What? Like, how do you guys get out and eat food, not knowing that like your company or your country can't even keep its word?
No,
Can't
it's our
drink.
company. Yes.
Well, fair enough. Okay, yeah. I mean, like it's just weird. They made the deal, everybody agreed on it, and then the US said, no, you violated the terms of the deal. Everybody's confused. Europe is confused. Russia's confused. Iran is confused. Everybody's confused, right? Okay, what did we do? Tell us. No, you violated the terms of the deal. We have to renegotiate, or else. And that's the funny part. It's not like you violated. We're getting no sanctions. There you go. And here's the thing: Iran has been suffering sanctions for like what, 10 years now? You think 2 more years is gonna make a difference?
Dude, hold on.
They still do it.
Dude.
It's just
we instigated, we implemented tariffs against China. And then the very next day they implemented tariffs that were even higher than our own. Can you guess what we did next? We doubled down, tripled down actually. We added even more tariffs at even higher prices against China. We are the nation. We are probably the only nation or the most prominent that has like the big dick syndrome. My dick is bigger than yours. And we are willing to go at all costs to prove it.
ugh.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm not completely up to date with that story that you brought up, but it does not surprise me. And I know that we have something going on with Iran right now.
Dude, here's the funny part. I wrote this down. I was gonna do a bit of research to look for this like talk on like your news covering it. Nothing. The only thing that's being covered is our news networks because Is our news networks are getting the clickbait. Does that mean we need to prepare for war, guys? Go buy groceries. You're gonna need it or whatever. But here it is.
No, I was gonna do research too, but then I had to watch the Batwoman trailer a couple more times to get myself ready for this stream.
God damn it.
I had to get myself in the proper frame of mind. Absolute rage.
Achievement unlocked. Got wood.
Got what?
Like, apparently the excuse, according to our news networks over here, is it's trying to protect the national sovereignty of Iraq.
The what now?
Right?
Sure, let's go with that.
What?
I'll take your word for it.
Wait, come again? Huh?
To protect the national sovereignty of Iraq. That's what the news says. I'm just taking
What?
that. I'm just using the newspaper. That my this is so fucking dumb, man.
Bush was raping Iraq for like how many years? 25 fucking years. And now that you're deciding to protect them,
Giving them
no.
They were giving them democracy.
Oh, democracy.
Democratica. Where is Putin when you need him? Dude, every interview I see in Putin, the more I see of this guy, the more it's like, why isn't this guy president of the fucking UN or something? Like, this guy this guy actually knows economics.
Yeah, but Trump's the businessman, man.
Dude, you ask Trump a question, he's like, that's a great question. We need to protect against China. And he just does just a bunch of, just goes around. You ask Putin a question, the interest rates go 5% and then it goes 3%. And if you look at the stats, actually, the growing economy and the interest rate is like having a nice slope, and it's going down, and we're investing more and more to increase the rate. And he just keeps talking. It's complicated speech, but for the regular man, but he's answering the question, right?
Yeah, nobody's got time for that, though, Trillion. Nobody's got time to listen to people and stats. We established that with the feminist thing.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Oh, Putin is a psycho. Maybe. But here's the thing, comment section. He's the best psycho that Russia had in a very long time. Like, tame compared to whatever came before him.
Wait. Are you saying he's a psycho, or does he use a lot of logic? Therefore, he is a psycho, just like that feminist.
Anybody who uses pure rationality is a psychopath.
A psychopath.
Oh my god.
Well, says it while looking at me condescendingly. Yeah. Ugh. No. Putin is like, he's a lot of things. He's a phenomenon,
Yeah, we get it, folks. He's not a loyal. He's not a trustworthy. Get ex-KGB. We've heard it all before.
Yeah, like don't worry. The media is covered on that one. They've spread enough of the bad word. But as far as I'm concerned, I trust the man about what he says and what he does in public. And what he says and what he does is leader worthy. He at least respects his stance. He respects the things he respects his country. And maybe he's a tyrant, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not in Russia. I can't tell you that. But as far as I'm saying, and as far as the Russian people are saying, he's pretty good. Way better than whatever came before him.
Well, maybe in interviews or whatever, meeting people on the streets, they were held at gunpoint.
Yeah, exactly.
Forced to say that, but I wouldn't see that.
Dude, I saw him in like a public showing, like a Q&A. He has a fucking Q&A where random people can come and ask him questions.
Dude, did you see him playing hockey at like one of those charity events? And every time somebody knocked him down, they would help him up immediately. He scored like 9 goals because nobody wanted to challenge him.
Well, he is a professional show off too, and you gotta love that. He admits it. Whenever he goes to a judo event or a judo training session, he makes sure the cameras are there. He's a showman too. He's a propaganda man. He knows what he's doing. He's like, a good CEO, as opposed to Trump, who's like a hype CEO. Like, just
I take them as different sides of the same coin in a way. I think that's part of the reason they get along so well. That and Trump wants a building in Russia still. And Putin is squeezing his balls until he gets it.
Putin bot.
Is
Dude,
that still a thing? Are people still talking about the collusion thing? Like it's going to happen again.
I think it
The
died.
coverage is going to happen again during the 2020 election.
I think it died, but it was always funny to me, the Putin bot thing, like, Russians hacked the election, because what you're basically saying that Russia beat you. You hate Trump so much, you're allowed to let Russia beat you in something, really?
No, here's the deal with that. As far as we know, as far as we know, they interfered, but it was not enough to turn the tide of an entire election. That's ludicrous. And then now all of a sudden we feel inclined to like look at, is China getting involved? Do they have ads on our system? Or ads in our country? Like, yes, of course. Dude, I find Norwegian ads on fucking Facebook. They shouldn't be anywhere near me. It's for boots that I don't need, but the point is, like, I could easily just go to like a Marshall's or something and get them here.
Maybe you forgot your VPN.
Perhaps.
Cheeky fucking ass.
Bastards.
I want to express something. I hate that we come like that. The current state of things in the world are such bullshit that for 3 episodes or 4 episodes in a row now, all we do is like bitch about how stupid feminism is and what it led to. And I don't think we've even nearly covered enough of it, but still, I just found it like a sad. Again, that's why I started this stream with a moment of silence, And now that we're nearing its end, I want to give another moment of silence again to just how sad this is. That all of this needs to be said, like that these aren't givens in the world.
Dude, as far as feminism is concerned, there seems to be a new article, a new topic, a new discrepancy that comes out every single week. And it's stream worthy. I honestly think that's what's defining the internet right now. Because the internet is rife with outrage culture. In fact, that's what it is if you look at all the right places, which tends to be social media. So that's where we find a bunch of the best feminism stories, or a lot of the best outrage stories, or the best petitions. Which, by the way, what's it up to now? Need to check.
It's right now at 930, almost 931,000.
All right, then. So you should expect that by the final episode, it should be at 1 million. And how appropriate.
Yeah, probably.
Then by the time the final episode's over, will have already reached 2 million. People are actively signing it as the episode's going on.
I can't believe the sign.
Just like they fucked up the opening credits scene this time. Peter Dinklage has a typo in his name.
On that note, I assume we're gonna wrap up now.
Yep.
We can, Trillion, if you don't like our comment section that much. If you don't like us that much.
No, let's wrap up. I'm sleepy. I did not sleep. We did our 2 hours in. Let's come next week with hopefully an unfeminist topic this time.
Yeah,
that'll be a
please.
challenge for us.
I'm done with feminism, please. Seriously.
Yes, again, sad week. Very sad week for me.
All right, so let's
Okay.
go ahead and pick the MVC. Any suggestions, boys?
Toby the Nomad. He has to.
I like Toby. Yeah.
I see a lot of Tobies today.
And he helped fuel a lot of the stream this week as well. To answer one last question though, no, Toby, I have not read Samurai 8. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna guess that it's an anime. In which case I'll answer in advance, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
And just for that, just for making me answer that, actually, I'm tempted to sway the MVC to somebody else. But because I feel like a nice person today, that's
Ignore
what?
it. No, please.
No, we're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. But
Yeah,
really, okay.
of
I
course.
didn't know that he was back.
God damn it, Kishimoto. God fucking damn it. You
I
could.
thought he was. I thought, why can't you just go out and milk the series you already have like a man? You know, just die like a gentleman on
Yeah,
that
just-
series' coattails.
Like, can you pull a J.K. Rowling and get the fuck out? Like, don't make any more content. It's Harry Potter. That's the only thing I can do.
Naruto is gay and Hitana is actually a trap.
It's actually reverse genders, you know?
Oh,
Naruto's he actually has black heritage. What was it? What were the changes that she made? Hermione's black.
yeah,
Dumbledore's gay.
yeah.
There's
Grindelwald is also gay.
a Jewish character. His name is Generic McGenerikson the Jew.
Abby, where are you? We're about to fight over this fucking series right now.
Also, Hagrid is a sex offender, but he's on rehab.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the sexual identity of the broom though that they write on, right? Because they're all like witches or whatever.
Did you just assume that they have a gender? Rape.
Oh no! Oh
Oh,
no!
no.
No, Twitch, help me, please. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that I offended anyone. I would like to give my formal apology. I know the tweet was from 10 or 20 years ago, but I have changed as a person.
This
And
is all I have. Okay. Otherwise, I become a male prostitute. All right.
I
No,
don't want to go back, guys.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
Okay, that's a good note to end it, right?
We will be seeing all you pricks next week. We better. That goes for you too and for an ape. It's time for you to win an MVC comment one of these days. And any last words? Any shout outs?
Eat your milk, drink your pastries. I don't know.
Yo. First things first, guys. I breathe ass and eat air. All right. Later, guys.
Later.